Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Rundown. We're going to go over the MLB games scheduled for Monday, April 18th, 2022. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comment section below. Now, if you're looking for my best bets or best bets from some of the top handicappers in the world today, be sure to check out the premium picks tab at pickdawgz.com. Alrighty, let's get into it. Here are the games for Monday, April 18th. First up, we look at the contest between the Minnesota Twins and the Boston Red Sox. This is going to be an early start time, as this is the Boston Marathon game that the Red Sox host annually. Now, Dylan Bundy and Rich Hill, the projected starters in this one. We saw Dylan Bundy pitch really well in his first start with the Twins. 5 innings of scoreless, 1-hit baseball, only allowed 1 walk. 2 strikeouts. I'd like to see him amp up the strikeouts a bit, but we've seen from Bundy, he's had at least 8 strikeouts per 9 in his entire career, and he looks strong in spring, racking up the Ks, so I'm not worried about that at all. On the other side, Rich Hill allowed 3 earned runs, 5 hits in a 4 1/3 innings, and he didn't look too sharp against the Detroit Tigers. Now, I know the Minnesota Twins lineup is severely missing Byron Buxton, who went down with an injury on Saturday, but I still think that this lineup is totally competent enough to get on the board early. We saw a pretty close game in the first 5 innings on Sunday's contest. Even though it was an 8-1 final score, it was actually 0-0 through the first 5 innings. So I don't think it's a bad idea to take the Twins on the spread in the first 5 innings, getting the half a run. That way, if the Twins are leading or tied after 5, we get the W there. So I'm going to take the Twins first 5, getting the half a run. Next up, we see the Chicago White Sox taking on the Cleveland Guardians. Now, I think the Guardians are the favorites for a reason here. You look at the starting matchup, Tristan McKenzie against Dallas Keuchel. Now, I've said before, just Tristan McKenzie's got great stuff. He just hasn't been able to find the confidence and the consistency that you'd want to see from him. But man, he might have found both in his last start, where he pitched 4 innings of shutout baseball and had 6 strikeouts against the Cincinnati Reds. Now, I know the White Sox lineup is a lot stronger than Cincinnati's, but still a very, very promising sign to see from a guy who was at one time one of the top pitching prospects in baseball. And on the other side, Dallas Keuchel, he got the win in his first start of the year, but he didn't necessarily impress me. Got into trouble pretty early in that one. And overall, I'm not too high on Keuchel this season. He had 6 hits, a home run, and 3 earned against the Mariners. And I think, although the Guardians lineup is not the strongest on paper, they're going to be able to get to Keuchel in this game, especially at home. I like the Guardians in this spot. I know they're 0-3 at Progressive Field this year, but I do think they get their first home victory of the season. And the White Sox go on a little bit of a losing streak after also losing on Sunday. So give me the Guardians on the money line to take down the White Sox. Next up, we have the Washington Nationals hosting the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, in this one, we see Madison Bumgarner taking on Josiah Gray as the projected starters. Now, Bumgarner has a 2.25 ERA. Looks like he's off to a strong start. But here's why I'm pumping the brakes on him in this spot and going forward. Bumgarner's only allowed 2 earned runs in 8 innings. Not bad at all. But he's allowed more walks than he has earned strikeouts. He's allowed 6 walks and only forced 4 strikeouts in his first 2 starts. And that's really scary for a starting pitcher. A 6.8 walks per 9 and a 4.5 strikeouts per 9 rating is not going to get it done. And that's why he has a staggering 5.94 FIP at this point in the year. It tells me that he could be in trouble in the very, very near future. While on the other side, you look at Josiah Gray. He struggled in his first start of the year against the Mets and then bounced back completely with a shutout performance in 5 innings, earning 5 strikeouts against a much better Braves lineup than these Diamondbacks. In fact, these Diamondbacks could be the worst lineup in baseball. When you look at their batting 152 as a team batting average, they were just shut out by the Mets on Sunday, and they've only scored 21 runs on the season. Now, the Nationals, as bad as they've been this year, their pitching has really been far worse than their hitting. Hitting .230 as a team, not too bad. 41 runs scored. The bullpen has been atrocious. But Josiah Gray against Bumgarner, I think, is a huge advantage in the starting pitching matchup. And I just don't see where the runs come in for the Diamondbacks here. So, especially on the road, I'm going to have to fade Arizona and Bumgarner here. I'm going to take the Nationals on the money line. Next up, we see the San Francisco Giants taking on the New York Mets. And folks, this is going to be one of the lowest totals you're going to see this MLB season. I'm seeing 7s and a little bit of 6.5s out there as well. So I would shop your lines and look for the best line possible, because I do like the under in this game, believe it or not. I know there's not a ton of wiggle room that we're going to get here, but you got to look at these 2 starting pitchers, Tyler McGill and Alex Cobb. Now, McGill was thrown in as the opening day starter when DeGrom went down with an injury in spring, and he's done amazing. I mean, he didn't allow a single earned run in spring training, 0 ERA with 6 2/3, 7 strikeouts in spring, and now he's pitched 10 1/3 innings in the regular season, hasn't allowed an earned run, obviously hasn't allowed a home run, has not allowed a single walk. He's gotten 11 strikeouts in 10 1/3 innings. Unbelievable job by McGill this year. On the other side, Alex Cobb, what a way to enter your new team, the Giants. 5 innings of 2-run baseball, but he had 10 strikeouts in 5 innings. Only allowed 4 hits and 2 walks. Both guys I'm really high on going into this year, especially Cobb. Cobb was one of my dark horses to win the NL Cy Young, and although he's probably not going to get as many starts as you would need to have a Cy Young chance, I still think he's going to have a really good year for the Giants here, and I think this game is super low scoring. I could see a 3-2, 2-1 ball game, but I like the under in the Giants-Mets. Next up, we see the Pittsburgh Pirates taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. Eric Lauer and Zach Thompson, the projected starters here. Now, Eric Lauer struggled quite a bit in his first start of the year. 4 1/3 innings, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, a home run, and 2 walks allowed. And he is a lefty, and for that reason, I do think there's some value at the Pirates when you look at what they've done against lefties this season. Pittsburgh is ranked 6th in the entire league in team OPS against left-handed pitching this year. They're a game above 500 after winning 4 of their last 6 games, and I think Zach Thompson's not a bad option to have on the mound. He pitched very well with the Marlins last year. He was decent in his first start of the year against the Cubs. The Pirates were able to win that game, so didn't do anything to cost them. And I think he keeps the Pirates close in this game, and I like the bats against Eric Lauer. So give me the Pirates on the run line, getting the 1.5 runs, and I'll sprinkle a little bit on the money line as well. Next up, we see the Tampa Bay Rays taking on the Chicago Cubs. Shane McClanahan and Kyle Hendricks, the projected starters here. Kyle Hendricks did not do very well in his last start against the Pirates. 3 2/3 innings, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, a home run, and 4 walks. And I don't like this spot for him against the Tampa Bay Rays lineup to just put up 9 runs on the White Sox on Sunday. A team that's right now back at 500 at 5-5. And with Shane McClanahan on the mound, their ace at the moment, I think the Rays can take this one on the road. I like their lineup against Kyle Hendricks, and I also think McClanahan and the pitching staff bodes well against this Cubs lineup as well, especially with Chicago coming back from Colorado. Tough place to play in Coors Field, and a tough place to adjust when you get back home. I think it's going to take at least a day or two for the Cubs to readjust, especially with no days off. So give me the Rays on the money line here. I think we're actually getting a really good price with the better team. Next up, we see the Los Angeles Angels and the Houston Astros. This is going to be the second time these teams have faced each other this year. I do expect to see some fireworks in this one. It's not my favorite game on the board, but I do think we see a lot of runs in this one. The first series of these two teams, 3 of the games went under. One of them went way over with a 13-6 final score. Now, I don't know if we're going to see as many runs as we saw in that one, but I do like the over with Michael Lorenzen and Luis Garcia on the mound. Both of these teams have already shown some signs that their offenses are starting to break out a little bit. The pitching staffs have also not been the strongest. We saw the Astros allow 11 and 7 runs to the Mariners in their 2 losses in that series. And we saw the Angels, they lost 10-5 in the first game against the Rangers and then scored 9 and 7 in the next 2. These teams have kind of been volatile as of late, and for that reason, I think there is some value on the over. So give me the over in Angels-Astros. Next up, we see the Philadelphia Phillies taking on the Colorado Rockies. Aaron Nola and Chad Cole, the projected starters for this one. Now, Aaron Nola has not been the sharpest this season. He's looked good in certain innings, but he's had at least one inning where he's really struggled in both of his starts this year. He'll have 3 earned runs and a home run against the Mets, and he'll have 4 earned runs and 2 home runs against the Athletics in his first start of the year. The strikeouts have been there, but he hasn't been missing a ton of bats when it comes to, especially the long ball. 3 home runs and only 9 1/3 innings is not going to be good, especially on Coors Field. And there's just no way I can think about taking the Phillies at this price on the money line, even though they may be the better team. Aaron Nola has just not looked like a -160 pitcher, especially at a hitter's ballpark. And Chad Cole on the other side, although he pitched well in his first outing, he's just not a guy I can back in this spot against a tough Phillies lineup. A Phillies lineup that I think is going to have a really strong series at Coors Field. I like the over in this game. I think we see plenty of runs from both teams. So I'm going to take the over in the Phillies-Rockies. Next up, we see the Baltimore Orioles taking on the Oakland Athletics. Spencer Watkins and Frankie Montas, the projected starters for this one. Now, you got to love the fight and the heart that the Orioles showed in that series against the Yankees. You know, the Yankees have been struggling. The Orioles did not care one bit. They earned a 5-0 victory on Sunday, where they scored 5 runs in the 8th inning, bottom of the 8th, to take that W. And they won 2 games in that series. Both of them were pretty exciting games for the O's, with one with being a walk-off and the other one the 5-0 win. But, you know, although they are playing pretty good as of late, I still can't trust them on the road against Frankie Montas here. I think he's the best option the A's have in that rotation. And overall, the Athletics have done a really good job competing this year. Nobody expected it, including me. They got rid of so many big-name guys, but they're 5-5 on the year. They've competed with teams like the Rays and Blue Jays, and I think that the Orioles are going to be the least of their worries, especially with Montas on the mound. So I'm going to take the A's on the run line, try to get a better price with Oakland here. I think they can win this game by two or more. Next up, we have the Cincinnati Reds taking on the San Diego Padres. Nick Lodolo and Sean Manaea, the projected starters. Now, the Reds really struggled in that series with the Dodgers, and I thought that they had a few starting pitching matchups that were pretty advantageous, especially the Tyler Mahle versus Andrew Heaney matchup. I thought the Reds really could compete in that game, but a 9-1 blowout loss in that one. And I really don't have much faith in this Reds team going forward, at least in this series and in the spot against the Padres. Sean Manaea pitching really well, and Nick Lodolo struggling quite a bit. He struggled quite a bit in his first big league start. He may have gotten called up to the big leagues a little bit too early. So I'm going to take the Padres here in the money line. I just think that the better team, and the price is okay, so I'll take San Diego. Next up, our final game on the board is the Atlanta Braves taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, I don't see a ton of value in this game, and that goes for a lot of Dodgers games this year, as Dodgers are going to be heavy favorites in a lot of spots, and unless you like the dog, there's just not a ton of value on the board. I'll lean towards the Dodgers on the run line here. When you look at the starting pitching matchup, Kershaw and Ynoa. Kershaw, 7 perfect innings in his first start. Welcome to 2022, Clayton Kershaw. 13 strikeouts in that one, while Ynoa struggled very much so in his first outing. 7 hits, 5 earned runs, a home run, and 2 walks in 3 innings of work. Just, I can't back him in the spot. I know the Braves lineup is solid. They've done a good job against lefties, but with how well Kershaw pitched in that first outing and how poorly Ynoa struggled, I just got to take a lean on the Dodgers on the run line here. So I'll take LAD minus the 1.5. And that's it. Those are the games for Monday, April 18th. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to put your picks in the comment section below. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.